Hi, I'm Dorottya Nizalowski and we are in Krakow today, and I'm here to talk to Florence Sitruk, world famous harpist and a professor at the Jacob School of Music in Indiana, Bloomington, and guest professor in Krakow Music Academy. So I noticed in your resume that there are a lot of Hungarian names, for example, Szabó. Could you tell us about your Hungarian connections?
I think due to those Hungarian masters, I would say probably I'm even a pedagogue today. And it was a miracle that the very first concert, like the debut, was under Weg. And this is like the first name. And then the next giant I was fortunate to meet was György, or György Szabó, as we would say the other way around. And it was in Bloomington at Indiana University when I was a student. And he's a pianist. I'm a harpist. So how is it possible that such a master becomes so important for a completely different instrument? And because of Mr. Szabó, I was going to meet Kurtak.
No.
And he put those scores in memoriam Szabó on my music stand and said, how are we going to make this possible, or to play it on the harp? I think that thanks to the Hungarian voice, and until today I'm fascinated to hear the language, I was able to deepen my musicianship and meet a type of pedagogue which is unique. Mm-hmm. And I also find that Hungary has absolutely unique musicians, and in some ways to have got a chance to get a glimpse into what Bartók would have meant, what Leo Weiner would have meant for my teachers, that is even not to put into words. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there has been a connection been created for me which I was not even aware. Mm-hmm. We need to widen our horizon. As it says in every religion, whether it's Buddhism or Judaism or Christianity, when you are 12, 13 years old at a time, you were meant to travel. And I think that's what we still need to do today. And not traveling in a management way where the hotel is the same, the chain is the same, the taxi is the same, or you take Uber, but in a way that you get lost. Mm-hmm. And you don't know how to organize your life, and you don't know how to open a bank account, and you don't know how to sign your lease. All these possibilities of getting lost, that is very important. And I see it with my students who go to other countries. I've just met a former student in Boston. She's from China. And one of my students came here to Krakow to study. She's from Hong Kong. And it is wonderful to see how they are a little bit lost. Mm-hmm. Because the language is not the same. And this is very inspiring for what we are doing.
So, talking about traveling, you did a lot of traveling, and you also moved to the USA 1 year ago,
I think, and 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And could you tell us a little about your experiences? What is different? What is really similar?
I didn't think that moving continents in our 21st century can be such an upheaval and can go so wrong. With everything is involved, especially all the paperwork. You're trying to do things well and it just all goes wrong. And I remember this one concert, which was my concert of introduction. It was on the 2nd of November for Szabó's concert, basically, a birthday. And the harp had arrived just the night before from the customs where it was not released. It was ice cold. And the boxes in my apartment had arrived, I don't know, just 2 days before. There were 580 boxes. Where are my concert shoes? Where's my dress? Where are my scores? It was a disaster. But apart from that, maybe for others it can go more smoothly. It didn't for us. I think what is most striking for me is the architecture. Mm-hmm. And how much that influences us. And I was thinking these days, walking through Krakow, the outside, what we see here, is so much entertainment. Mm-hmm. Yeah, to look at every beautiful house with its decoration and to guess, is it Art Deco, is it Baroque, is it Renaissance, how old might it be? This is it's like the best of entertainment you could have. And it occupies your mind, and you don't really need to watch TV or go into the internet. You don't need more food. Yeah, there is so much to see. Or these beautiful colors, of course, of this nature. People smile at each other. They're curious. Yeah, they look into each other's eyes. They want to know something, even if it's just a short meeting on the street. And I think this is not the case in my American surrounding. Everybody's pretty much looking on the phone. The architecture is reduced to the most efficient maximum, even to a point where the walls are glued on with stone-like ornaments, but it's not stone. Yeah, it's just for the outside appearance. But I think that I realized to a certain point that this wild climate we have in the Midwest, it encourages people to stay inside and to sort of completely go introvert with their digital life. Yeah, so the computer has so much power because it saves you from going outside. You don't need it. You can call the food home and you can do your homework there. Just practicing is not possible, right? That you need to do with your hands. And in such sense, the musicians, of course, they remain an island within the university. And I have a very wonderful studio I'm very proud of. But we talk a lot about this, how it might even threaten us as young musicians and artists for the future, that digitality is becoming such a strong phenomenon, is the wrong word, but basically a revolution to our society.
Yes, I would really like to have your insight on how it affects musicians or artists like yourself.
Already at Indiana University we have a new subject, it's called creativity. You can study creativity.
Really?
Yes. So what does that mean? It's basically what we're doing. We're being creative the whole day. Everything what we see goes into the food of, right? Of our work. And in one way that confirms why artists have an important role in society. On the other hand, I could also see there's going to be a run on artistic subjects to study. Everybody might want to do that because it's one of the last fields where you can express yourself with a human voice. Maybe not a last, but certainly one of the few, right? So it will sound like everybody can study it, like as you can go to a show and Britain looks for the next talent, and it seems like within a very short time you can do your first CD, and then you are an artist and you get many likes. And I think we know deep down that this does not exist. There is no shortcut in learning. We do need to sit down and take many years to mature, and they are important years, and there is no shortcut around analysis of how to do it. And there's no shortcut of practicing. And universities even today, they have a tendency to offer so much that some young people, they drown in those offers. Whereas at my time, and that's 25 years ago, I had to beg to listen to a lesson of Shibboleth. I could not just walk in. I had to ask for permission. And it was very hard because there were so many who wanted to do that. So there was a challenge to access what was phenomenal. And today, universities invite great artists to come through and give master classes. And it seems so easy to meet those giants, right? But I think it's so beautiful, somebody's practicing in our back. I think the slower path to really deepen the complex process to understand the score has not changed. And it's good that it is a challenge and it should remain one.
Now that we are sitting in Krakow, I must ask that you used to teach at a lot of schools in a lot of countries before, and now I heard that you are mainly in the USA and here. And why did you choose Poland to teach, or Krakow? Do you like it, or?
Oh, very much so. And I did not choose it; it fell on my head. And it was a very wonderful gift. And very recently, our wonderful dean said, "We would like to have you very long here, maybe forever." And I thought, wow, not even my husband has asked me like this into marriage. It's one of those moments where you feel that your work makes sense. To be European and to go to the US and then come here as a European with the American color. Yes, to my observations. That makes you appreciate the beauty in Krakow even more.
Yeah.
For sure. Oh yes, and I marvel at the houses and at the ornamentations, and I am amazed about the wonderful level of playing at the academy.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for this interview.